Daddy Long that guy. And shout out to Real Life Crew.
Hey, you're one of 12 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
Yeah, you know what? To define that better, I think the key there is... Daryl Cat. I just lost my train of thought.
That intro never gets old. Nation Real Life, episode 142, coming to you a little bit late here on a Monday night, and that's for a special reason. Bag Milk to my right, Jay across the table from me, Wanye here as always, and the Twitter legend, the man himself. Usually he's hitting me with sarcastic replies on Twitter, and now he'll have to do it to my face. I am Bikes. Ryan, how's it going, man?
I'm a little terrified right now. How are you?
You should be terrified. I'm absolutely fantastic. Excited to have you on. As far as like diehard Oilers fans on Twitter go, I think we can agree that like I am Bikes is like icon status. If you could retire Twitter accounts to the rafters at Rogers, I'm pretty sure his would be retired.
It's one of the most entertaining ones. No,
very entertaining. Very entertaining.
I don't know, man. Like, there's been many nights when the Oilers have been getting shelled, and you and I are going back and forth, and it's been one of the highlights of so many horrible nights.
It's the only thing that keeps me sane these days. But it's just, yeah, the humor thing is just, it's got me through the last decade. So if it wasn't for that, I would have gone nuts by now.
I think that's the case for most of us.
Yeah.
It's all we got.
I think that Oilers fans having each other online is truthfully the only thing that's gotten us through. Like, if it wasn't for me personally, if it wasn't for Twitter, even working at Oilers Nation every day, I would have been way less engaged.
Oh,
when they're down 5-2, I'm like, I'm just going to stick around and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to say something funny.
There's been so many nights watching the games where Twitter is the best part of the game.
Yeah.
Like, as an example, a few years ago, 2, 3, 4 years ago, whenever the Oilers released the Here Comes the Oilers hashtag, which was basically a gift for all of us assholes.
Yeah.
Spend more time looking up GIFs than actually watching the game.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Like, anything. Like, anybody falling down the stairs, add that hashtag in, and everybody's in the mix. It's the best.
Well, they just teed that one up for us, too. Like, that's the easiest hashtag to do something with.
We're doing this at night, and we actually have some breaking news on the podcast, but it's not Oilers breaking news.
Oh, damn.
I know, I teased you a little bit too hard, but a trade in the NHL. The Blackhawks have acquired Calvin DeHaan from Carolina and Alexi Sorelli from the Hurricanes in exchange for goalie Anton Forsberg and defenseman Gustav Forsling. Out of those four names, are you all aware of those four players?
I've heard of one of them.
I've heard of Forsling and
Calvin DeHaan is the only one.
Calvin DeHaan.
Oh, Calvin DeHaan, yeah. Like, Calvin DeHaan's a big name in this one, but
Yeah. Well, he was a high draft pick, wasn't he?
he was, and then he was an Islander for a while. He
Yeah.
was a fourth overall pick.
Yeah.
Islanders always get good defensemen when they choose fourth overall.
Shout out to Big Cat.
Yeah, shout out to Griffin Reinhart. But
Yeah.
the Blackhawks doing their little off-season retool, really ramping it up. So maybe some implications in the Western Conference if they're a team that looks to be trying to go for it once again. But anyways, thought I'd pass that along as it comes across my phone.
I mean, you tell us if that matters. I have no idea.
I knew everybody in that trade.
course you
Anton
did.
Lander got traded for Peter Forsberg.
That's right.
Wow.
Unbelievable. 2019.
Huge trade.
Yeah. Somehow Calvin Klein was in the mix.
Unbelievable. Forsberg still has value.
Oh God, I love Peter.
I hope his foot's okay by now.
Oh, I bet right now. It's totally fused.
Yeah. It's a club foot now.
It was strange watching the draft this week because I remember someone telling me at one point when I was younger, like, okay, here's the stages of getting older. First, you'll see athletes are your age. Then you'll see teachers are your age. Then you'll see cops are your age. Then you'll see people on the news are your age. And then you're old. And so I'm watching the draft. And that was a while ago that happened. I'm watching the draft and I'm like, who the hell are these little, like that little German fella with his little bow tie that got picked 5th overall and grabbed his head in disbelief? That kid, if I saw him out in the streets, I would mug him. Like, give me that. Give me your pocket watch and your monocle, Point Dexter. Instead, he's getting called up by Stevie Y.
I was thinking about Steve Yzerman during that pick because I was at Steve Yzerman's last game, which was Game 6, first round in 2006.
Wow.
And now he's the GM of his second team.
And he's got the glasses that make his eyes look bigger.
Yeah.
That's what I think about.
Yeah.
He's got everything, except he also has that. It looks kind of like Bubbles.
Because he's in his 50s now, isn't he?
Yeah, man, it's weird.
I know. It just
That's
kind of
nuts.
escalates.
And it's been 20 years since they did back-to-back there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was thinking that, like, watching the draft, like, how they all look like children.
Yeah.
And what was it? Was it Jack Hughes they showed wearing the Taylor Hall jersey as a child?
Yeah, like
Oh,
2 years
yeah, that's
ago or
weird.
something.
Like, yeah, he was
that.
like little kid. And this is... It's
really
amazing.
upsetting.
It made me feel really old.
Well, now all these kids are like 2001, now going into 2002 draft year. Like, this is getting weird. I remember the craziest thing was like when you'd always see like when you go into bars, like what the year is that is the legal birth year to drink, and you see like once they like got like in the late 90s, I was like, holy shit, like, and then obviously like 2000s, now you see that and I'm like, oh my god.
Even just
That's
like a
how I
guy
know
like
being old.
Crosby's 31 now. He's turning 32. Like he's on the back nine. And that's weird because I was in like just out of high school when he got drafted. And I was like, oh shit, Crosby's going to be the be all end all of hockey. And now he's almost done.
Yeah.
As long as Chara is still playing, I'm good.
Yeah.
I think he's the last one.
Yeah, he's older than me.
There's like there's a handful of players that are still my age or older.
I think as soon as Matt Hendricks got traded from the Oilers, I think that was the last guy I was older than, or I was
Really?
yeah, or who was older than me. Sorry,
nice.
yeah.
And you know what? I don't care. I will cheer my heart out for a 19-year-old kid.
Every year there's a new 18-year-old for us to crush on.
Exactly.
It's the best news ever.
Well,
Goldberg, you see them abs?
Yeah. Speaking about drafted hotties, holy cow!
Oh boy. Woo. He looks good. Was Clefbaum like in his Swedish palace underground, watching on a gold TV with his 30-pack, being like, "Oh no, a challenger."
He's been doing sit-ups ever since.
Yeah.
50 Cent in the club video. He's just
He's doing a plank right now.
I don't know what it is about those Swedes, but they are good-looking, ripped individuals.
something in their water.
Yeah, they got the good stuff.
So I'm talking.
And it's like less sunlight or something, or too much sunlight in the sun, or one of the two.
Did you think of the Oilers going to do more? I mean, we've been talking. We heard that there was going to be 2 deals on draft day if they could get their shit together. I was sort of underwhelmed by the entire thing.
I'm starting to think, and we're guilty of it too. But like all this hype gets created for the draft, right? Because it's like draft week, and the narrative gets out there like the GMs are talking more to each other than ever, and you hear like, and then all the speculation and whatnot, and just sure as shit. You go and watch the draft, and everyone just kind of stays in their lane with on day one with some minor trades. They don't pull a Chiarelli and trade 2 very high picks for a pile of shit.
I mean, even last week on this podcast, we were talking about things that we thought were going to happen, and none of us were close because nothing happened.
Yeah, like I was expecting a Chris Russell trade. I was expecting, on top of that, probably a Jesse Puljujarvi trade. Like there was so much that I really wanted to happen. And I kind of look like a dumbass because, like, on these podcasts, I was going my hot takes. I'm like, oh, Russell, gone. Lucic swapped for Eriksson, done. And, like, even Sunday came and, like, the Marleau trade happened. And I was like, okay, like, I'm believing a little bit here. And then the Subban trade happened. It's like, all right, like, insanity will now ensue. And then, again, it just went, like, completely quiet. Vancouver paid way too much for JT Miller. And then it was just, like, everyone flew home. It was a dull draft weekend.
I hate that Subban trade, by the way. Not because I don't like Subban. It's because Ray Shero appears to be some kind of witch that acquires a Norris Trophy winner and an MVP for Adam Larson, a bunch of plugs.
Yeah, but look at the character of the 2 guys he drafted.
Oh,
so obviously he's got an affinity for like
Savage.
me people and doesn't care about team people. So good luck, Jack Hughes. Good luck, Jack Hughes. Have
I don't
fun.
care about team people either. I care about fucking getting some wins, and those 2 are going to help New Jersey win.
I was surprised how little Subban actually went for in the end.
Cap space is so valuable now that they just like have to
value.
eat shit to get those out.
Remember how cash used to be king? Now cap space is king.
Well, same shit.
Nope.
Well then,
Nope space. You can have an unlimited amount of cash, and you can only spend to the cap. Cap space trumps cash.
Which all the GMs are pissed off about now.
Yeah, what were they crying about? What was that on the weekend?
there was 5 GMs. I'm just paraphrasing here, Tyler, unless you got the tweet. Like 5 GMs complained that the salary cap is ruining the NHL. Whereas I would say, no, you dumb assholes that are giving Kevin Hayes $7.3 million, you're ruining the NHL / salary cap, whatever you want to look at it.
GM's got to stand their ground and not just like throw because that's what ultimately always leads to a fucking lockout is they have to keep resetting the rules and then they fucking fuck themselves over again and have to reset the rules to fix their mistakes. Like, don't give Kevin Hayes $7 million and then all of a sudden you establish a better marketplace because now everyone's going to use that as a benchmark, and now there's a lot of people also waiting to see what happens with Marner for to set the bar for what they re-sign for, like Linus and whatnot. Like they're their own worst enemy, and then they're blaming someone else for their mistakes.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Dusty Nielsen on the weekend before he was doing Inside the Nation, and he was talking about how there's scouts at the draft talking about how Mikko Koskinen's contract is ruining the goaltending market this year. So at least we're throwing grenades at other teams as well. What else can you be happy about?
But we also fucked ourselves because we have to sign another goalie.
100%.
We don't need to sign anybody. We got that Koskinen kid who's doing Koskinen numbers without Koskinen money.
But he needs a backup, and we need an insurance policy.
And he signed
Actual
for 2 more years.
Koskinen or the new guy?
New Koskinen signed for 2 more years in the KHL.
Koskinen 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He signed for 2 more years in the KHL.
Yeah.
Doesn't North American law trump Russian law and they have to immediately release him?
I assume so. North American law trumps all laws.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would have thought.
Yeah,
He'll
sure.
have to defect.
The interesting part about that, though, is actually that he's playing in Yaroslavl, which is the team Mac T's taking over, and another Oilers draft pick is going to Yaroslavl and is under contract there. So there's a part of me that thinks this whole Mac T going to Russia was just like a super play by Ken Holland and Daryl Cates to be like, oh, we can't bring these guys to our AHL team. We're creating a Russian farm team.
Yes,
and that's
let's
going to be
go with that.
Lokomotiv Yaroslavl.
I like it. Positivity. I'm going with it. I'm
It's the
drinking that
reverse.
Kool-Aid.
Mac T's like, I shall have my revenge on the Oilers organization and torpedo everybody who comes through these doors.
It's interesting, too, that just this past weekend, the Oilers drafted a bunch of huge units. Up until that 7th round kid that Tyler was just talking about, the little Russian kid, he's like 5'8" or something like that. All over 6 feet, like 6'2", 6'3", big boys.
Yeah.
Big boys.
And their second round pick, like Broberg, obviously 8th overall, high end, like that's a guy fans are going to be excited about. But I think this Raphael Lavoie, like I remember about a month before the draft, there were rumblings that Montreal loves this guy at 15th overall. He's just a big scoring winger. He's already 6'4". In the QMJHL playoffs, he had like 20 goals in 23 games. He shoots right, like. He just feels like that piece that in 2 years, I know I'm probably being optimistic because I really like the player. But
It's Kool-Aid season, man.
it absolutely is Kool-Aid season.
Is it
I could
October
see
yet
him
already?
just sliding right up the depth chart in like 2 years and being like that top 6 scoring winger. Kind of like what DeBrincat's done in Chicago. Like DeBrincat fell for whatever reason because it was like, oh, well, he was scoring at the junior level because he had good line mates playing with McDavid, blah, 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 blah. And he came to the NHL, and I think there's something to be said that scoring goals is just scoring goals.
Jay, speaking of which, Jay, are you upset about Caulfield going to Montreal?
Yeah. I wanted the Oilers to draft Caulfield, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll jump into your comment. Did they give us any reason why he slid? Because like if he's a high score, any big frame, because it's not size,
6'4".
6'4", like what was the reasoning? Like the narrative of why he slid.
Chatting with Corey Prodman today, some scouts were just worried that during the season, there were times where he'd go like 10 games without getting a goal and he would look maybe like a little disinterested and maybe like the effort level and commitment level off the ice wasn't quite there. But honestly, when you have a guy with that much skill, like clearly he can do it and he has the size to do it as well. I think the NHL can almost be a motivator. Like, all right, you know what? I fell 20 spots in the draft, and I'm an NHLer now, though.
Well, there's two things. He showed up for the playoffs,
He did.
right? So that to me speaks bounds. And if playoffs is a motivation for him, I think maybe being under the spell of Connor McDavid can maybe smoke out some consistency.
I have an article going up tomorrow about just kind of aggregating all the scouting reports about Lavoie. His highlight packs. This dude has hands. He can wheel. He can shoot. I don't know why he fell, but the idea of playing with Connor, man, that's got to motivate the kid because he's got a good chance to do it, and it's not going to take very long to get there.
Well, that excites me.
You know, what pissed me off was when they didn't draft Caulfield. I didn't get to go to Corey Hart. Wheeling to the draft party. Jay's there. I'm like, what's going on? And then Chalmers is there too. And he's like, I got tickets for us, boys. Everybody, we're going to Corey Hart. We're sitting loge. I'm like, awesome. Jay's like, yeah, unless they Griffin Reinhardt me at the draft this year and destroy everything, at which point I'm not going to Corey Hart. Then they don't pick Caulfield, and you yell, no! And we don't get to go to Corey Hart.
But then we gave the ticket. So we had the draft party at the Canadian Brew House at Lewis.
Grand prize, 6 loge tickets to Corey
And
Hart.
we, once they were drafted, I was sour, and then obviously I was part of the domino effect of not going.
Man,
And,
I ate a lot of shit on Twitter on Friday night.
Oh, did
Yeah.
we gave up the tickets as we announced, like, okay, you have 15 minutes to take these tickets and go see Corey Hart. And this table ran up and grabbed them, and they were fucking pumped.
Like I was.
So pumped.
I wished I came to them with them to the party. Then I would have got to go see Corey Hart.
I had to be in a good mood to go to Corey Hart because Corey Hart, I don't
Alan
give
through a glass tiger took his shirt off, revealing his octogenarian nipples, and I didn't see anything.
Oh, that's
I saw Glass Tiger at Reds a little while ago.
Oh.
It is a hurting show.
Yeah, no. I'm kidding. Although Corey Hart has plowed most of his money into looking like Corey Hart.
What the hell?
Oh, yeah,
Why is Corey Hart doing an arena tour?
God bless him.
No, but
We have an
Sorry,
arena to sell,
how?
man, and Cardi B ain't going anywhere because she had a kid.
yeah, but like name like Gordon Lightfoot has a better chance selling out Rogers than Corey Hart.
If you go, when you're coming into the game and you're going up the stairs into Ford Hall, if you look on the screens as to who's coming, you'd swear it was 1987. It's like Styx, Anthrax, Corey Hart, the surviving half of Wham. Like, there's nobody good coming.
Like when Chalmers said he's like, hey, yeah, I'm going to the Corey Hart concert, but I'm gonna come to the draft party before. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's because he's playing at the River Cree, because that to me is a venue worthy of Corey Hart.
Well, that's like
Not to shit on Corey Hart, but like, anyone have any photos from the concert? Was there anyone there?
I haven't seen it. Like
Yeah,
my
I
sister
know
last
that.
night went to Trooper and April Wine, and they were not playing at Rogers Place. Shout out to Corey Hart, man. If he can still move units like that, why not?
Well,
Go for it.
exactly. If he did, like, mad respect, all about trying to make a buck, but like, what?
I can't wait till like 2065 and I'm going like old people shows. I'm like, man, I went and saw Gucci Mane. He looks unbelievable.
Still got it.
Still got
Sounds
the
the
heat.
same.
Just saw Young Turk. He just had his grill replaced again for the 30th time.
It was like the last time I went and saw Motley Crue, and it was just like the crowd in there. I was like, oh, we are a bunch of hurting units out of here. Fantastic. I love it.
All right, I'm going to steer this back to hockey for a
Yeah,
second.
sorry. See, this is
Bite.
this. We told you, we warned you going into the show that we were going to go off the rails entirely. So I apologize.
Do you have a take on them going with Broberg at 8 or anything that happened over the course of the draft, or are you just in like wait and see mode?
I'm in wait and see because I've never seen any of these guys play. Anyway, I was joking about that online the other day. Like, I've never seen a shift of any of these guys, but I see a lot of people talking about it as if they know everything, and maybe they do. But I just gonna like sit that one out because I have no idea, and I guess we'll wait and see it. Because like, how many times have players been drafted and you expect everything, and it turns out to be nothing, or vice versa? So I don't. For me, I don't know enough to say anything about it, so I just wait.
I'm going to end segment 1 on an incredibly reasonable take, because that's what that was.
No, I gotta jump in.
Oh, boy.
I gotta jump in.
Fuck me.
No, I gotta jump in. And I'm sorry, everyone. But the reason why I was upset and didn't go to Corey Hart is all roads lead to Corey Hart, and maybe that's why he could sell out the arena, is we need scoring forwards. And sure, we got Lavoie in the second round, but like, why are we drafting a defenseman with our 8th pick? That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I'm high on this guy because he's tall, good looking, washboard abs, all the underwear are taken care of and clean in this city. And I also like the fact that Victor Hedman did like a video welcome to the NHL thing, so it tells me it's some kind of connection of some variety. But why did we get drafted defenseman?
I also wanted to go to Corey Hart, and I'll tell you that you picked the best defenseman because you picked the best player available at the spot.
But he wasn't. There was players ranked above him.
I know, that's why I didn't get to see Glass Tiger.
Yes.
Livid. Remchuk, ads?
Yeah, this podcast isn't possible, obviously, without the fine folks at Japa, so we're going to allow them to get a word in here. We'll be right back. Nation Real Life.
Have you got holes to dig, earth to pack, and roads to build? Then you need to call Japa Machinery Group. Does your equipment need a service? You can't fix stupid, but here at Japa Machinery Group, we can fix everything else. With a full range of parts to keep your equipment running smoothly. Japa Machinery Group is a family-operated and Alberta-grown business. Here to help build a bigger and better Western Canada. Give us a call or visit us at japamachinery.com. Japa Machinery Group. Join the family.
Welcome back, Nation Real Life, episode 142. Jay bagged milk. I am Bikes, Twitter legend in the house. Wanye as well. And the conversation we got into during our commercial break that I think we're going to pick up on now and continue a little bit is just, we were talking about the draft. And the fact that the Oilers had the first with Yakubov, they had the fourth with Puljujarvi, and those were just like blatant misses. Like, you didn't even really get serviceable NHLers out of those picks. And I know you had takes on that one, yeah.
It's nice to split a microphone today. It's good, Remchuk. It's nice. I do have takes. Like, I think it's ridiculous. I think that here we are. We've blown a first pick overall and a fourth pick overall. And both guys, although different players, have a similar psychological profile. They're from remote areas, way the hell and gone to the middle of nowhere. And they're going to require more hand-holding than the average bear to get them to be productive. right? And I wrote an article for the first time in 50 years about this year, talking about like culture, right? And, millennials need to be dealt with a different way than every generation before them, like every new generation does. But if you're the Oilers and you're sitting there and you've got Puljujarvi on deck, and you know that you've botched Yakupov even by this point, and you've got Tkachuk, who's going to have no culture shock, who's going to have no problems fitting in. He was raised in an NHL training room, for God's sakes. He can go into a team and start to implement his own culture on the team. Who the hell makes the call and then follows it up with Puljujarvi was not treated very well at his time here. He was given very little support. He's all by himself. He didn't bring his mom and his sister over like Yakupov did. And sure, that's on him. But if you're going to pick a guy and this guy's going to be, maybe a little bit tender, and he just had bloody double hip surgery or whatever the heck he was taking the exercise bike. It just seems to me that it's another very poorly managed high draft pick in a team that's ostensibly been rebuilding and should be making sure that all these guys are getting every chance in the world to succeed.
The thing about both of those guys is that unless you've been to a country where you do not speak the language at all or very poorly, you don't really understand how hard that is and how isolating it is. And for a guy like Puljujarvi who didn't speak English very well, Laddie Schmid talked about it, how important it was to learn English for him to fit in the room. He needed to do it. I don't know how dedicated to that Puljujarvi was or not. I have no idea. But the Oilers surely could have done a better job helping this kid along. Could he have not lived with somebody, not by himself, where he doesn't even know the fucking city? He doesn't know the lay of the land. He doesn't know anything. Ideally, in hindsight, you throw him back in Finland for another year, plays in the AHL for 2 years before making the jump to the NHL, but that's not what they did. They crowbarred him into the lineup, as the Oilers always do, lost his confidence, and he's never been able to get it back.
When he got sent down to the A, my boy drove him to the airport.
Yeah, I know.
What were you doing driving him to the airport? And he's like, well, I don't know. It was either that or take a Uber.
That's crazy. That's crazy. How do they not have a car for the kid?
I think Yakupov is different than Puljujarvi because I think Yakupov is really special in the sense of we've heard stories of him.
Yes, but I think if you're an organization and that wasn't a surprise. It wasn't like they thought they ordered up a guy named Phil Johnson from, Moose Jaw. They knew he was going to be an interesting guy.
Why draft him?
Why draft him?
That's
why not look at it and be like I do agree with you. They're different types of people, but they're similar in that they're kind of like if you did a bell curve of everybody's profiles on the NHL, there's a bit of an outlier there, right?
Yeah.
And if you're completely ill-equipped to deal with that, don't draft Puljujarvi.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, you know what? That's another guy from a country that's going to have a tough time fitting in. We just screwed Yakupov's life up and threw him out in the heap of history. That's the one I'm looking for. Maybe we'll just pass on that guy and go with Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Or do what you can to make him feel comfortable knowing that. Help him.
Well, I'm told that the Oilers actually did provide an English teacher and tried to make some kind of effort. I'm gonna start off with. I love Puljujarvi. I love the idea of Puljujarvi. But
big smile, all of it.
Yeah, big smile, all of it. But just like Laddie said, it's on the player also to make an effort.
Yes.
The other thing also in that draft, he was supposed to go third, and a Finn GM didn't draft him, right? So that to me is pretty huge because this guy should have a solid understanding of Finnish hockey players. So that to me is kind of a strike against. Oilers should have probably just stayed with their plan, which was were they going to take Tkachuk?
It was Sergachev.
It was supposed to be Sergachev, yeah.
Sergachev. Well, Sergachev would have worked out great. So yeah, it's why do you draft the player again? Because they just fell on their lap and they jumped on him because they got excited with probably not doing enough due diligence on it, or maybe I don't know.
Well, I think maybe what may have happened, I'm just trying to think of not an excuse, but a reason why, is maybe they thought there was no chance they were getting Jesse Puljujarvi.
Yeah.
So they just, like you said, they didn't do their due diligence because they were like, all right, well, it's going to go Matthews, Laine, Puljujarvi. At the beginning of the year, there was even talk like Puljujärvi was right up there with Patrick Laine and Austin Matthews, and then it got separated towards the end of the year. But there's a chance maybe the Oilers just said, well, we're not getting him. Let's look hard into Sergachev. There was talk, Frank Saravalli reported, of that massive trade that they were going to make with Calgary that involved all those pieces, and the 4th down to 8th, and the 2nd round pick as well, and Michael Backlund. Like, it was a whole thing. So maybe, they just got a little bit too overexcited, and they should have stuck to their guns. But at the end of the day, that's kind of in hindsight right now.
Oh, of course.
You pick the player, and I still think there was more to be squeezed out of Puljujärvi than what they did. And I agree, though. Like, there is onus on the player to... I don't think he really adapted all that well to what they needed him to be to some extent. I know that might not make a ton of sense, but he should have been working on his shot, thinking, I'm not going to be an NHL driver. I need to just be a really, really high-end finisher, someone who can be trusted to play with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid. And he never, I'm not sure if he ever really fully grasped that concept.
Well, the Oilers should have known that, give him 9 or 10 games, because obviously the rules are different with a Euro player than a CHL player. So give him 9 or 10 games, and they should be able to know that they've got to let this kid go and marinate and build some confidence and work on his pro game, and just have him go back to Finland, or have him go to the HL. They definitely mismanaged the asset. But then, just take it a step further, like, why did we draft that asset? But
even on the different angle, though, they were going to do the same thing with Bouchard last year until Todd McClellan refused to play him beyond the 7 games he got.
Rashad brought it up the other day. I think that, he said this was just his own speculation, but the fact that he might not have really fit into that room all that well, and nothing has been reported, but he said, it could be an issue of him just not, as simple as that, just not fitting in.
But you got to make the effort.
Well, and that's where it falls on the player too, right? Like, he needs to step up and do the off-ice stuff and the English and all that stuff that we've heard about. But yeah, that's just where, maybe it's a little bit of column A and column B, but we also haven't really heard from him yet, specifically. We're hearing everything through this agent. So I'd be interested to hear exactly what he has to say.
I don't think he wants to go public and say anything, though.
Probably
I'd be interested to know what he thinks. Like, obviously, it's evident he wants a fresh start, and I think, to me, that's the timing of it's
very strange, though. Yeah. With all the changes with the Oilers, you would think, I would understand it if there was no management changes this year at all. I would at least kind of understand.
When I came to Edmonton, I didn't speak English either.
You've done an amazing job.
That, mind you, but it was hard, right? And maybe he just doesn't. I thought that too. I'm like, wouldn't Holland have called him and been like, look, give us another year. If you don't like it, we'll trade to the end of the year.
It seems like a fresh slate to me.
Yeah.
And he's doing this now. It seems strange.
Maybe Puljujärvi's lost the room, because going back to Lottie Smid, it was like whatever it took, he wanted to integrate in with the room. Yes. Right? It was that was his mission. He
wanted to go to dinners.
Couldn't speak a lick English. He's watching English movies with subtitles to learn how to speak English. He's thankfully got a Czech player on the team when he was sent down to Portland there to be able to learn a little bit from. And, he made it was his mission.
Remember last year, Connor chirped him. I remember him interviewing him. They were talking about Puljujärvi being sent down. He's like, well, you're going to have to learn English if you're going to be up here, and that's on him. Remember? I remember watching him being like, holy shit, that's one of the first times I've ever seen Connor check a guy in the room. Maybe he did lose the room.
Yeah. So I wish him all the best, but obviously I think one of two things. They're going to trade him, or what I think they should do is unless there's a very good trade for the organization on the table, I think you just force him to keep trying to prove us wrong.
What do you get for him at this point?
Tyler, take us through what they're going to get for Jesse Puljujärvi.
Well, Stauffer was talking on his show about potentially the return, if they deal him to Carolina, is Julian freaking Gauthier.
Tell us about him.
He's Tyler Benson's age. He's 21 years old, and he's a 40-point-a-season guy in the American Hockey League. I'm sorry, but that guy's not going to be an NHLer at any time soon. I refuse to believe that you can't get a little bit more for Jesse Puljujärvi than Julian Gauthier. But at the same time, the whole him going to Europe for a season, quite frankly, scares the living hell out of me.
Why is that?
Because I'd be worried that he goes over there, and what if he doesn't excel? Or what if he goes over there and he's average? And then you've gone from maybe being able to get a bottom 6 winger for him to a year from now, now he's worth nothing. In my opinion, a year from now, even if he goes over to Finland or to the KHL and lights the world on fire and is like a point a game guy, does that really increase his value at all?
I would think so.
No, it has to.
No, see, and I don't think it would, because I still think teams would look at him and be like, no, now he needs to come over and readjust. Yeah, we've seen him do it in Russia. You saw him do it in overseas before his draft year against men. He was successful. So I'd be worried that at that point, teams will just go, no, it's now an asset that we need to reestablish into the NHL game. I just think right now you really need to just try get as much as you can for him this summer, or convince him that staying in Edmonton for one more year is the right play for everyone involved. I don't think going to Europe, I would need to look back at like the history of the league, but can you name me a time where a player has gone to Europe and all of a sudden their trade value is that much more?
Koskinen left NHL and went to Europe and came back. That worked out well, right?
Well, it worked out well for him because he was a free agent. Like if the Islanders had to trade his rights, I don't think they were getting
Didn't Gio go to the KHL?
But he came right back and stayed with the Flames. And I mean, that is...
My take on it would be I don't want Ken Holland to bow to people
No.
that ask for trades just because they're unhappy.
Got a Steve Yzerman, this kid. And if Puljujarvi has any fucking sack, now I'm going to question his character, is he reports and he goes to the A.
He can't. He has to go through waivers. So you can't.
Does he?
You can't.
Yeah, he has to go through waivers.
No
now.
longer waiver
Let's fuck this up real
Oh,
Yeah, like it's
shit.
fucked.
So what happens if he does come back? Like
He has to
accepted,
play in the NHL.
accepted into the room. It's going to be even
Oh,
worse now. Like
trade
that.
him.
Exactly.
Imagine?
That's
Trade
why
him.
I say you just need to get rid of him at this
Yeah,
point.
sorry.
Like, he
not
can't play
fully
in
aware of the
NHL.
situation. Trade him. Trade him, and hopefully Uncle Ken can...
Don't you have a Puljujarvi jersey?
No, I've got a... I don't. Whoa, I don't. I do not. I have a Puljujarvi inspired shirt that we made that has now been...
Oh, that's what it was. I mistook an Oilers jersey for a
it's been
T-shirt we made.
relegated now to my gym shirt.
You mean this guy?
That
I'm wearing
guy.
it right now.
Wearing it. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that guy's now my gym shirt that I sweat in all the time because I don't give a fuck about the shirt.
I get your point, Tyler, that you got to get something for him. I just hate the idea of a kid bullying his way into what he wants.
Yeah.
I
Demanding
hate
a
that.
trade is so lazy. It's
Put in
not
the work,
you, it's
man.
me. I mean, it's you, not me.
Put in the work, come here, bust your ass for 40 games. Let's talk about it at Christmas. Like, that has to be an option.
I agree with you too, but maybe they do need to call the bluff. Because, I mean, I talked to someone who talked to Yessa who said that he doesn't want to go play overseas. Like, maybe it is just a big bluff by the agent, the whole, no, we're going to go to Europe. So you're I don't know. Maybe
His agent's fucking going scorched earth, though.
He is.
Well, and what team's going to want to deal with that now too? Like he's already kind of established this. You know, we're going to have to watch this kid, so he goes somewhere else. Like now they're going to be aware of this. It could be an issue there too.
I remember one time Kobe wanted a trade from the Lakers, and Jerry Buss is just like, no. He was playing with Shaq. It's like, Kobe wants a trade. Owner's like, no. They're like, oh, well, Kobe finishes his career a Laker. Why do we have to bow down to anybody?
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing that bothers me the most about this, because then it just sets a precedent that maybe you can bully your way into what you want, even if you haven't earned that.
This is a really big sort of first hurdle for Ken Holland, but at the same time, if there was a GM in the league who you'd want to kind of handle this situation, I think we can all agree that Ken Holland is on the short list of guys who you'd want to be dealing with this.
Him or Yzerman.
Well, he even said it too. He was just like, to paraphrase, he's just like, I've seen this before. I'm going to see it again.
I'd take Peter Chiarelli any day in this situation. He's so astute, and he's thinking 12 steps ahead. Right?
Harvard man.
Oh, Harvard man to his bones.
Reinhardt will pay off.
One day, you'll see.
Chiarelli would offer Puljujarvi like a 6x6 deal and be like, we're going all in on the kid.
He's a sexy player.
Remember that time he was eating pizza bag milk?
Oh, God bless.
God, was that a good kid.
The weird thing, though, is that GIF is going to be the highlight of his time here.
Well, the cool shirt.
Yeah,
what
we
was
had a cool
also
shirt.
sad about that shirt is he bought the last one, which I thought was just, oh boy.
Yeah.
Is that an actual story? So that Puljujarvi pizza shirt, there was limited supply left and he snagged it. How do you confirm that? Just like you see his name on the order form?
We know the guy who sold it to him.
Yeah, he got it through a buddy of ours who's boys with him. And he bought a bunch of them before for people back in Finland. It was like, do you have any more of those shirts? Yes, we have one more left. Give it to me.
That's a great story. This is what tears me apart so much when we're talking about him. Because like the hockey optics of everything that's happened leads me to be like, oh, this spoiled kid just like can't wrap his head around going to work and having to change who he is as a player and working his ass off. But then like you hear stories like that, you hear the interviews with him with Gene Principe. Whenever he scores, like that big smile on his face, like you want to love him so bad and you want him to be here and succeed so bad. I can see Bikes is nodding his head like,
oh, every time he's on, everyone loves it. His interviews are the best. Every time he scores, it's great. He's got the pizza gif. But
Can shoot a puck.
Couple times per game, you see him licking his eyelids.
Licking the eyes of the guy next to him on the bench. Ugh. Remember when he went to the ODR? Remember that?
See, and that's the kid. Like,
I
this
love
community
that
was
stuff.
prepared to love him.
Yeah. He was doing the right things. It's just
So when was that? That was Christmas 2 seasons ago. Was
yeah. Last
or the
year,
All-Star,
right?
was the All-Star break? 2 years
All-Star
ago?
break or
All-Star
Olympic
break. Everybody
break
left
or-
town. He stayed in town. I went to the outdoor rink with Buddy R's like 2 or 3 times.
When he jumped in that random guy's truck for a ride
Demanded
home.
a ride home and shit. Yeah, he
RV boys.
I love that.
okay, so those stories, like I'm going to be a little bit of a cynic on those. Like on the surface, they're like, oh, feel good stories. Like Christmas time, he went to the outdoor rink and was shooting pucks with those 12-year-olds and like, oh, hopping in a car for a ride. That to me speaks to how terribly the organization handled him. You let this kid sit at home alone over the holidays and not be like, hey, can some veteran take the fucking kid for dinner? Or
He's literally on the side of the road looking for a ride.
like, come on. You couldn't be like, hey, equipment guy, fucking drive our 4th overall pick to the airport.
You're 100%
please.
right.
Well, this goes back to maybe he lost the room because, like,
Yeah.
during those extended times and there's breaks, these guys are going to Cabo. These guys are going on, team like on trips.
Yeah.
And
He's jumping in strangers' pickup trucks.
Listen, and you might be a cynic, Yaremchuk, and say that like off-ice stories have no bearing on someone's delivering on the ice, but I think we can agree the year Gilbert Brulé drove Bono home.
Oh, legendary.
That was the year we signed him to an 8-year deal, and he delivered.
Worth it.
I don't
want,
even
I think
know
he-
that story.
oh, geez.
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Bono totaled that
What
at
year
the
did it
concert.
happen in?
2011, I think.
2011?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Bono was here
13 years old,
for
yeah.
for that concert. And he's on stage and he's like talking about. He goes Gilbert Brulé, and the whole crowd went silent. Like, what? And he told this amazing story of how he got caught in the rain. It's something about
He was Bono was walking down
In
the road
Vancouver, right?
in Vancouver,
Yeah.
and got caught in a rainstorm. The guy was driving by in a car and pulled over and picked him up, and the guy pulling him over was Gilbert.
Yeah, of all the
go
names
all
to
in.
drop at a U2 concert, he picks Brulé.
Like expecting everyone to be like, yeah, and just everyone's like, He did okay with Columbus, but that spiral fracture really took him down a peg.
This is straight up the first I've ever heard of this story.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Oh yeah,
fascinating.
it was amazing.
Oh, it's the greatest.
We've got a.
I missed the rest of the concert trying to figure out how this happened. I was sitting there going, great concert, but Gilbert Brulé?
That summer, Jonathan Willis and I had decided we got together and wrote a 3-part story on Gilbert Brulé because we were so convinced that he was going to like rehab and be amazing. We wrote the 3-part thing, and then like 2 weeks later that happened, and I texted Willis and was like, should we do a part 4? And he's like, nope, I think they've had enough for one summer. Okay.
I like to bring that up with Willis every now and then.
The 3-parter?
Absolutely, you
it's
got
good
it.
content.
Absolutely, it is.
There's another clothing story about Yakupov, so this is kind of in the same vein. He was here at Little Brick on the patio sitting by himself.
Space Pants.
And it was like, this is in season. This is the season he got traded. So this is like in October. And he's sitting on the patio by himself. And just went out and chatted to him. We gave him a hat and he wore it for the rest of the day.
And he had that dope sweater.
He was wearing
pants or
space
whatever.
pants.
Yeah, he was wearing space pants.
God almighty. I remember you being like, Neil Yakupov is on the patio and he's wearing space pants. I'm like, well, this is why I come to work.
Yeah.
Speaking of fresh
You never
threads,
see that at home.
speaking of fresh threads, Wanye, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to our friends at Indochino.com. Ryan, do you know about Indochino?
I do now.
Absolutely, you do. They make arguably the finest suits money can buy. Jay, I saw you the weekend. You look great.
Buddy. I finally got to break out the suit.
How'd you feel?
Oh, man. That thing fit like a dream. And it's weird, the power of a suit. Like, you get it on, it fits good, and you walk, and it feels like you're walking good. And I finally had an event that demanded a suit, and I took a photo of me in the suit in front of a helicopter.
Did you feel a little bounce in your step, a little swagger?
Oh, like I said, I felt like it was my helicopter.
Now, real talk, we've been to Thailand and we were walking down the street. We saw everybody coming out trying to decide if we were Australian or Canadian to sell us a suit.
Oh yeah, hey buddy.
Hey,
Yeah.
bro, where are you from? Australia?
Yeah.
Australia?
Yeah.
Is the quality like immeasurably better between those? Because I thought those are good suits, and I know people who've been to Asia, bought the made-to-measure suits. Remember the one hotel we stayed at?
Yeah.
Who'd bought a suit there? Was it Iserman?
No, they claimed Joe Sakic.
Oh, Joe Sakic. Yeah, but he had a photo with him and he's holding up a suit.
Yeah, I know.
We landed in Thailand and it was like, Joe Sakic bought a suit here.
Random hotel on Koh San Road.
I stayed at that hotel.
With the Joe Sakic suit on the main
thing.
floor?
Yeah, you walked out. Yeah.
So is it better than those suits?
100%. Like I said, like it I've had suits before. And this one, like, the fabric's good, but for me, it's all about the fit. I've never had like a properly fitted suit, and that to me it felt good because like it just fits right. Everything fits right. So I was super pumped. I was finally had an event for it. Still waiting for a wedding invite because now I know the suit works, and I really felt the reinforcement for the. Because I told him, like, I like to blast my ass out on my pants because I dance a lot at weddings. And I felt like I was reinforced.
What you need to do is you need to head down to Indochino. Get yourself measured up. They have stores everywhere. Get measured up. Choose your style. Customize your suit. You want a flossy inside? You go ahead and get a flossy inside. You want Hope Will Never Die on the inside of your jacket like Jay got? You throw that in there. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you will have a wrinkle-free suit delivered to your house right out of the box. And you too could have a power suit just like Jay. Head on over to Indochino.com and get yourself started.
Where is one location I could go to? Like, do we have a list of them? I need a new suit. I went to a wedding on Saturday, and I'm still rocking the same suit from that I got like 3 years ago. And I was like, all right, I think it's time for an update. So I need to go pay Indochino a visit.
Well, my friend, you head on down to West Edmonton Mall.
There you go.
West Edmonton Mall, our greatest mall. You can get yourself measured up at the showroom. They will take care of you, just like they took care of Jay and Chris, the former intern that took his suit and ran.
Yeah, that was a greasy move, but I ended up with his laptop, so I can't hate on Chris too much.
Yeah, we gave him an Indochino suit. He took it to a job interview and got a new job.
Yeah.
That's why we never should have given him anything nice.
Never. That was a mistake. Classic mistake.
So one of the things that I want to talk about, and I think this is the right crowd to talk about it with, is people are explaining wrestling to me. So we bought a wrestling website, allwrestling.com, 2 summers ago. It's big in the States. And we've, over the course of a couple of years here, been slowly getting our heads wrapped around what we're doing, and we're working on, we've relaunched the site, and now we're going to get a bunch more content for it and stuff like that. You're a wrestling fan.
Yes.
But you're like a weird wrestling fan because you're like Rain Man for like 4 years of wrestling, and then...
Yeah, the current product has kind of lost me, but I like the old stuff from when I was a kid and even just from a few years ago. But yeah, currently it's...
So do you currently in 2019 sit and watch wrestling?
I will watch I'll watch like the pay-per-views and things, but Raw and SmackDown, not even close anymore.
So what's missing? What's changed?
Well,
personalities?
It's everything. It's like, I think someone had a good quote online recently. It was, "We know it's fake, quit reminding us."
Oh.
And by that it means like all these bullshit backstage segments and poor delivery of lines. They're not actors. Quit trying to make them act. And it's just, some of it's just so cringeworthy. And there's very little wrestling in the shows anymore. So it's very, I don't know. They've gone the pure Hollywood route. But I don't know. I still like the big events though, but not the weekly shows.
When was wrestling peak for you?
For me, probably the end of the Attitude Era.
I don't know what that means.
So about 20 years ago in Austin and The Rock.
20 years ago.
Yeah, and then it's kind of been a steady decline since. It was still good in the early 2000s, but now, yeah.
And it was Stone Cold versus The Rock in those days?
Those guys,
They were driving pickup trucks into the ring and cracking beers, and you were just...
Everyone was watching back then. It was like, I could actually wear a Stone Cold hat to school and not get beaten up for it. But you try that now, and no one... I think...
Well, you can't go to school now. You're much too old.
That's true. Yeah. I guess.
So you would get...
That would explain all those weird looks I get.
You wheel into a school now with a Stone Cold 316 shirt. They're like, nope, not today.
Aren't you supposed to not be within 100 feet of this place?
Well, that's what that one pushy judge said, but I'm still appealing, yes.
So wrestling's gone MTV.
Pretty much.
Huh. I'm actually excited because we're throwing our first wrestling event this summer.
See, now the pay-per-views are good. SummerSlam, WrestleMania, those are good. But the weekly shows to get to that point. But I do like the big events, though.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And this is just WWE. Do you like any other level of wrestling?
Yes, actually, AEW's come out now, which is Cody Rhodes' promotion. And they had a big show about 3 weeks ago. And they're getting a lot of ex-WWE guys that are it's very similar to the Oilers situation. People want out of WWE and they go over there.
What does AEW stand for?
All Elite Wrestling. So if you, about 3 weeks ago, I guess there's
And
a
it's
ton
on
of
A&E, the channel?
Yeah, of course. Right after Biography.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But also the local promotion PWA is pretty good too.
Yeah, we love PWA. We just sent Nation Dan out there the other day to watch a match, and he had a really good time.
He said it rekindled his love of wrestling.
I was following him on his tweets there, and he's the local guy, Michael Richard Blaze. He's probably going to be quite a star. He's a hell of a wrestler, and if you haven't seen it on Twitter, him and Teddy Hart did quite a spot off the top of the ladder.
Is that when they got the ladder at the end there?
Through a table and another ladder. And
Oh, that was from that event?
Yeah.
I saw that, and that's bananas.
It's all over. Like, it really blew up on the wrestling scene. So
I've never been big into wrestling. Like, you mentioned that your decline of wrestling came 20 years ago. Like, I was never alive for the good parts of like the WWE. When you say he's gonna be a star, yeah, I like milking that a little bit. When you say like this guy's gonna be a star, he's a hell of a wrestler. What's the criteria you're looking for when you're watching someone that makes you like, oh, they're great, I love them? It's
not even really what they do in the ring. It's just kind of the way they handle themselves. They walk to the ring. If you go to a show and Blaze is there, you can see. It's like watching a top prospect. You can kind of just see this guy this much higher than everyone else.
It's like an aura almost.
There's
like
just something about it, yeah.
Magnified.
And you can't really put your finger on it, but there's something that you go, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. And it seems like it's just a matter of time before he gets signed to one of the big companies. So
I couldn't believe it when I went to the PWA wrestling with Yukon Jack, and we rolled in, and that's like going to the British Museum with Prince William. Like, everybody was real excited to see Yukon. But like, somebody set out in the match, like there was tacks all over the deal, and then the guy did like a flip into like mouse traps, and we're like 2 feet away from the ring because Yukon's VIP, and like the guy's back is bleeding. Like the cliche, like this is fake. Something very real was happening at PWA when I went that night.
Yeah, I think if you use that word in front of the wrestlers, they would not appreciate it too much, because it's predetermined. It is what it is, but they're annihilating themselves a lot of times.
Well, it's a show. It's entertainment, right? Like I grew up loving wrestling. I've kind of lost that love, but now I'm seeing all this content and footage on Instagram from these PWA events, and I actually I want to go to one. I think it could be the thing that reignites love.
It's a lot of fun because it's stripped down, right? It's not glitz and glamour like WWE is. Pure show. Yeah. Like the biggest, like their production value is second to none, like anything. Yeah. But when you go to an independent show, it's just the wrestling, and that's what people want to watch. That's why I get turned off from WWE. It's just there's so much else going on that what's going on in the ring is kind of secondary, if even that. But you go to a show like that, and it's the main thing.
And I think that's like. Maybe like I'm an old school wrestling fan. And I think it was more about the wrestling. Yeah, there was a little bit of sideshow and storyline going, a little bit here and there, but like it was about the actual wrestling. So I think that's why I'm gravitated towards that style that they put on. So.
Well, in AEW, the new promotion, I think they're listening to that, and that's what their show seems to be more of, is just pure wrestling.
That's what drives me crazy when people are like, "Oh, it's fake. Why do you waste your time on that?" And it's like, man. People watch like fucking TV shows and movies and stuff.
I put up with
things are predetermined.
It's entertainment.
Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Right? Like Game of Thrones.
Well, that's a sport though.
The last season sucked ass. Blah blah blah.
Well, it did. That's a topic for another day.
Sign a petition.
Yeah, and I really don't care.
Were you born after Game of Thrones?
Probably. But like that's something like the WWE stuff. Like it's live. It's entertainment. Like take it for what it is. You don't need to be all like. I hate when people get all high and snobby about it.
I'm watching Friends. I don't actually think there's an apartment with a camera in it that just happens to be catching 6 friends with like witty dialogue. Everything you see is fake.
Oh yeah,
including the NBA.
They go, do you cheer? Well, yeah, I cheer. Do you cry at movies? And that usually shuts them up.
That depends.
Yeah, that's fake.
Well,
it's those old people in Titanic. The water rushed right in when they were on the bed.
Well, and it's all these shows with all these predetermined narratives, whether it be movies or wrestling. It's the ability to make you think it's real. Is what makes it powerful. Like Game of Thrones, it's fantasy, but I was able to make it. Yeah, of course, there's dragons and like wrestling. Good wrestlers will make you think this is actually happening, and they're in it. Well, it is actually happening, and they're doing these crazy things. But like you buy into it, they make you believe.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
It's you know what it is. What it is. You know going in exactly what it is. You don't cheer and boo because you think it's actually happening. Like it's just a performance. The same thing you would watch any other movie or concert or anything.
I just watched the Andre the Giant documentary. I know I'm super late, but sure, it's predetermined. It is what it is. But what happened to the dude as a result of wrestling was very real. Mm-hmm. Just like the Jake the Snake one, they fuck their bodies up.
It's a hard life.
Oh, I remember that WrestleMania when Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant and slammed him. I was just like blown fucking away. Like Hulk Hogan was the man. I used to take Safeway bags, cut out the bottom.
I know where this is going.
Put him on like a tank top and then rip him off like Hulkamania would when he got into the ring.
He was 27 in the suit.
Yeah.
And the girls were just throwing their
He did that on the way in this afternoon.
So many iconic moments.
That's actually a good move. Did you invent that?
Yes.
Good job.
I want to be able to rip my shirt because I couldn't rip the one I was wearing. And I'm like, I bet you I can rip that bag if I wore it.
Boy, oh boy. Mom, go to Safeways and get more groceries so I have more shirts.
And then also Ultimate Warrior, I'd tie the things around my arm so tight so my vein would finally pop out of my arm and just yeah, it was good. I was so into it, and I think I'm at a point now where I can let it back into my life a little bit.
Well, it's funny because like everyone my age, everyone watched when they were a kid. So everyone does the same thing. They go, I remember these days, the Hulk Hogan. But now I don't think the current generation of kids are going to look back and say, I remember Roman Reigns and all these. Like, it's not the same. It's not.
That's what old people have been saying about shit since day one.
That's true.
Well, I've got buddies with kids, and their kids are now into wrestling, and now the dads are back into wrestling, and they're going to WWE events when they come to Edmonton and stuff. It's funny how it's a cycle.
And it's unreal to be there. Like, I'll say, like, I don't really watch on TV as much. I still know what's happening, but to be there is wild.
Yukon was explaining to me kind of how the WWE is exceptionally well run, and they do a lot of data mining, and they're very, very smart. And they recognize what you just described. So there's a whole generation of people who are like, boy, oh boy, wasn't Demolition and Axe and Smash amazing when you were a kid and you had your little wrestling cards? What's that? Statistically speaking, now you have kids. So they've gone and gotten a lot of these WWE legends, and they cleaned them up, and they've made a whole bunch of cartoons about them, so that the parents can sit down with the kids and remember the wrestlers from the days of yore, and then also watch the new ones. But they do a lot of interesting stuff. Like if you look at it as a content machine, when they have like a show on the WWE network about like wrestlers who are injured and then they're climb back into the league. So you get hurt, you go on this show, they follow all your rehab on this show. By the time you come back into the league or into the ring or however it's described, you're like way more popular than when you got hurt.
Huh?
It's amazing what they've done with the network. It's basically almost like HBO 24/7 with the NHL. Like they'll follow a guy, like you said, from the time they've gotten hurt. Over
real doctors, real rehab.
Everything is real on these shows. Like they just, the characters are put away, like the storylines are put away. And I find that way more fascinating because then by the time they do get back in the ring, it's real. Like you know what they went through. Like Finn Balor tore his labrum in his shoulder. They followed that from start to finish for 6 months. So by the time he came back, it was the same as if a hockey player came back. It's amazing.
You're like, I don't really like wrestling. Anyways, this rehab show I was watching the other day.
This is all I've got in my life right now.
We got about 6 minutes to go. Wanye and Bikes got their wrestling in there. Is there anything else? I know we have the Nation Golf Tournament coming up. Now's probably a good time to give that a plug. You got the info on that, Jay?
Yeah. Yeah, no. We got it.
Government name. Mark it down. Mark it down.
Dun, dun, dun. Tell me when I can go. Or am I going right now?
Yeah, go right now.
Oh, geez, it's happening and I didn't even know it. Yeah, Nation Golf Tournament is about to launch this week. Proudly presented by our friends at Wilhauk Beef Jerky. So expect delicious beef jerky.
I'm so excited. And
Canadian Brewhouse. So expect a party pre-brunch, a post-event party post-brunch, I guess, an evening brunch. And they're going to be our pickup and drop-off point because we like to do things responsibly. So it's August 29th at Cougar Creek. We've been reaching out to our partners. There's going to be a lot of fun shit. A
lot of drink holes.
Well, there'll be the appropriate amount of drink holes, but there'll be plenty of opportunities to have fun. So we've got a lot of good prizing coming along. We're actually working on an amazing grand prize that once I confirm it, I'll tell you what it is. And it'll make you want to stack your team to try and win. But yeah, we're launching that up. Then that's in the support of the Jason Gregor Foundation, which is Suits for Kids. essentially is the big thing that they focus on. So if you can't afford a suit for your grad or dress, I believe he's branched out to. Gregor's got your back, literally. He's teamed up with a local company, and you apply to get a suit, and then you're looking fly like me.
I just want to say that these things sell out every year quickly because it is a great time.
Yeah.
We have a great day at Cougar Creek. Everybody's in the mix. We have a banquet afterwards. Kent Tilley's going to do another show, I believe.
Yeah.
A little bit of stand-up. We've got prizes for everybody. We just have a great day planned for you. August 29th, it's a Thursday. So you come, you have a great time. You mail it in at work the next day, and you're fresh for the weekend.
Mm-hmm. And you're almost guaranteed to see Gregor cry. He comes up, does his speech, thanks everyone, gets into why he's doing this, and then he starts crying. He's gone 2 for 2. I would almost put the odds at 100% that he's going to go 3 for 3. So if you want to see him in his weakest moment, please come to the golf tournament.
That's actually pretty enticing. Last week with the draft coming up, we went around the table. I asked everyone to give us a prediction on one move that we thought the Oilers would do, and then they made no moves. I want to do that kind of like free agency style, because when we do our next podcast, are we going to be doing it on Canada Day, or are we going to be bumping it one more to do it on like
Yeah, the Tuesday.
Let's do it on the Tuesday so we can recap free agency, right?
I always throw a raging party on Canada Day. Everyone at this table is invited. So I will not be in any kind of shape to do any kind of broadcasting.
Just regarding that party, there's talk. I don't know if it's going to happen. They're trying to get Hunter to come.
Ooh. Okay. We'll keep everyone posted. Okay,
That'll spice up the Instagram game we're all playing, by the way, of interacting with Hunter.
Oh, yes. I've got ideas.
Since our next one will be after July 1st, I kind of wanted to just go around the table and everyone give me one prediction on a player you think the Oilers are going to sign on July 1, a trade you think the Oilers are going to make before July 1, something or along that lines. We'll
I'm going to go last because mine isn't one move. I was this morning I had some time to kill.
Okay.
So I put down a master plan that will not be executed. Well, no, because everyone's got to go do their thing.
Okay. Start with you, Bag Milk.
I don't know. I don't want to get excited about anything.
Drink the Kool-Aid, man.
I could see them chasing a guy like I would like them to chase a guy like maybe Matt Zuccarello on a short-term deal, but I don't think it's going to happen. Same with Wayne Simmons. I don't think it's going to happen. I saw reports today that they're looking at Mike Smith as a possible tandem for Mikko Koskinen. I'm going to just say Mike Smith because I'm upset that we don't have cap space. Peter Chiarelli really upsets me. What does make me happy is he might be signing with the Vancouver Canucks in some kind of management role. That makes me happy.
They deserve Chiarelli to Vancouver thing is absolutely hilarious. The one move I'll predict, the Zuccarello thing is interesting, but I think there's enough teams out there that really want help on the wings that are going to throw like 6x6.
Maybe Jonas Donskoy might make sense.
As a lower end cheapy guy, I think by this time next week we're going to be talking about an Oilers goaltending tandem that includes Peter Mrazek. And what they'll do with Mrazek is I bet you they give him like a 3-year term, which some other teams might not want to, and they'll try to get that AAV down to like 2.5 and try to work something that way. But he was good for the Canes last year, and there was talk that the Oilers wanted his right to the draft. So Mrazek is my pick. Wanye, do you have the big name?
Just name a player.
That was glorious. I like having your Ram check out. It's a real hockey podcast.
Oh, he's got the real takes. My master plan has a 100% chance of not happening. P.S.
Just say your plan.
No, go for it.
I don't care.
No.
Go ahead. I don't.
Name
literally,
a player.
I honestly, at this stage,
Who do you want gone, or who do you want here?
I want Lucic gone.
I would like Lucic gone. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen.
Before we get to Jay's master plan, Ryan, is there a name out there? Like, I know you're not picking like the analytics or anything like that, but like, is there a name that you're looking at that's like, hey, that guy looks sexy on an Oilers jersey?
I would say Mrazek, just for the fact that I don't think we want Koskinen playing 70 games. It'd be nice to have a guy that you could rely on that's, somewhat reliable. So hopefully,
here comes the Oilers.
Yeah.
If it's Koskinen playing more than like 55 games next year, he's either done this like remarkable transformation over the offseason, or we're going to be looking at a really, really disappointing season. Okay, Jay. Everyone, I'm going to turn off everyone's mics and let you just run with this master plan.
Well, it's not master. I'm saying it's a master plan because it involves a few moves. So I'm hoping. What I would like to see is Uncle Ken create some cap space by obviously trading Russell, which it seems like is a reality. and then doing whatever it takes to trade Lucic or get Lucic off the books without anything coming back. Which I know is gonna. So once again, this is wishful thinking. We might have to retain a little bit of salary. That opens up a lot for us. So then I think we should try to go after Burakovsky.
Okay.
Because there's this a situational thing there in Capitals land where he is available. Connolly, if we're talking about him, sure, him or Donskoy, I don't know. There's always the debate. There's a debate between Connolly and Chiasson. Are they the same guy? Are they not? I think Connolly is better than Chiasson.
He is.
Yes, so I would want Connolly here. And then that gives us budget to sign the guys that we want to keep. Afford a goalie, because we need a whatever who... Because I would assume Mike Smith is cheaper than Mrazek.
I don't know. Depends.
Might
He's
be
angrier than Mrazek.
$750K less.
Whatever he chooses, I'm with. But then it leaves budget to maybe sign a little bit of term. Like, I know Zuccarello and I know Simmons are going to be looking for term, but if you can get one of those guys, that would be amazing.
I could see maybe Holland taking a swing on Gustav Nyquist as well.
Oh, yeah.
A guy he has a pass with. But to do that, honestly, though, you need to clear up money somewhere.
Yeah.
Like right now, when you look at it, the Oilers have about 9.5 in money in cap space to spend.
Courtesy of our friends at Puckpedia.
Courtesy of Hard at Puckpedia. I chatted with him today. He's fantastic. So let's say it's $2.5 million on a goaltender, right? So now you're down to 7. And you probably want Kara back.
Yeah, so what's he, like 900?
Let's just call it an even mil.
Okay.
So now we're down to $6 million. Okay. Now I'm assuming that Puljujarvi, you bank $1 million on him either coming back or the asset you've traded him for, right?
Yep.
So let's just play it safe and say Puljujarvi's your 2. Now you're already down to $5 million.
Yeah.
Who's going to be your third line center? You haven't even found a third line center yet.
Well, that's the thing. That's why we have to get rid of. We have to at least get. Well, Russell opens up $4 million.
But then you got to replace Russell. Because then if
are we gonna move? Are we gonna leave a spot open for one of the young guys to move up?
Like Caleb Jones, say at $1 million just to keep the math easy. I'm bad at math, Tyler. That'll save us 3.
Okay, but so then your right side on your defense is Larson, Caleb Jones, or Ethan Bear, and Matt Benning. Although Jones is a lefty, so it doesn't even really work. It would have to be Bear, Bouchard.
I'm still expecting that Benning for Connor Brown trade as well, something like that.
Okay.
Also, in my master plan, we have $20 million to spend, so we can go and sign someone. We've got Buffer. Mm-hmm. All right, we got Buffer. But I really think we should try and take a run at Burakovsky. Played with McDavid and Erie.
Yeah.
Has got upside, but has been in it's a unique situation in Washington, right? Just because they have all that firepower, and he's been playing like third line, fourth line type stuff, but he's got a lot of upside.
The salary cap's killing the league, guys.
Killing it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, I might stop watching hockey because of salary cap.
The asterisk with Burakovsky, and this is a super nerdy thing of me to know, he made $3 million last year.
Yeah.
He's an RFA, so you have to qualify him, which means you have to pay him like $3.2 million.
Mentally, I'm thinking 4.5.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a lot of coin to throw at Andre Burakovsky, but I do agree that there'd be some potential here.
There's some upside, but like at least there's like a McDavid connection, so McDavid obviously would sign off on this. So if he does, and we sign Burakovsky, then we know it was the right move.
Here's my thing: greasy under the table deals.
That's
like you bring in Burakovsky and you go, listen, take $1.5 million, and you're going to become the face of Rexall Pharmacy, and like slide him like $3 million to be the face of Rexall Pharmacy. We're quickly running out of time. Ryan Bikes at IM Bikes. I guarantee you, we only have like 13 listeners on this podcast. I guarantee you everyone already follows Ryan, but thank you for coming in and giving us a little bit of time. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I wasn't too astute on the draft stuff, but hopefully I made up with the wrestling talk.
I was going to say, nor are we. The wrestling takes up this podcast a lot, I think.
Sports.
Wanye J, Bagged Milk. Again, guys, great podcast as always, and thank you for tuning in at home or wherever the hell you happen to be listening. Episode 142, Nation Real Life. That's a wrap.